love to hate great villains in movies and on television, but it can sting to find out a celeb you like is capable of being a real-life bad guy or girl. Most of us have had our off moments where we came across as slightly less than polite and composed, but these famous people got busted being jerks in a huge way. To catch more of the latest celebrity news and insight, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications. Emma Watson. Although it seems wrong to besmirch the good name of one of the witches responsible for saving the world from you-know-who, actress Emma Watson is known to be a bit of a diva behind the scenes. Selfies are so standard nowadays, but Watson refuses to pose with fans for a quick snap because she wants to control what information is put out about her online. Her selfish behavior was on full display at the 2017 Elle Style Awards, where she arrived an hour and a half late, which we believe is far outside of the fashionably late time frame. She won the Woman of the Year trophy, but couldn't be bothered to show up on time. Once she finally graced the show with her presence, she snubbed the red carpet entirely, refusing to walk with the other celebrities. Her disinterest in the event at which she was being honored was palpable. She even insisted on having her photos taken alone and in a special room, unlike everyone else who was pictured on the red carpet. Not wanting to spend one extra minute there, Watson bounced the second she received her prize, ignoring the after-party entirely. Ariana Grande. Despite her sweet face, Ariana Grande has a well-deserved reputation as a real heel behind the scenes. Of course, we all remember the infamous donut scandal that was documented via security camera, in which Grande sneakily began licking donuts that were on display. When an employee proffered her a tray of donuts, she responded rudely and vulgarly before claiming that she hates America. Ah, America, land of the free and home of the donuts. In response to the incident, Grande claims that her quote was taken out of context, and licking the donuts was just her expressing her thoughts on healthy eating. Well, glad we cleared that up. Behind the scenes, Grande's co-stars frequently claim that she is difficult to work with, and somehow we don't find that hard to believe. Much like Emma Watson, let's just say that Grande is a bit particular about how she should be photographed. During one photo shoot, she gave the photographer a list of rules, including not to use natural light and making sure to feature the left side of her face. After each photo was taken, Grande demanded to look at it, and if she didn't like it, she would force the photographer to delete it. After a short session, she claimed she didn't like the way her top looked and left, never to return to the set. Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato has a generally good reputation, which is why her copying and attitude with Taylor Swift of all people shocked so many of us. Fellow musician Kesha was embroiled in a painful legal battle against her producer Dr. Luke, who she claimed had sexually assaulted her and would not let her out of her contract. Many people spoke up in support for Kesha during this difficult time, but Lovato used it as an opportunity to throw some shade. She tweeted, "I'm also ready for self-proclaimed feminists to start speaking out or taking action for women's rights." Many people put two and two together and realized she was referring to Taylor Swift's recent speech about female empowerment and the fact that Swift had not weighed in on the Kesha situation. Well, Swift decided to put her money where her mouth is and donated $250,000 to Kesha as a show of support. While many people praised her generosity, Lovato tweeted out that she was unimpressed with the gesture and that it simply wasn't enough. Turning Kesha's painful legal battle into an excuse to take cheap shots at Swift surprised her fans. During the backlash, Demi commented on an Instagram post and tried to accuse Swift of being spoiled and privileged. We guess it's easy to forget that you're also a wealthy superstar sometimes. Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber tends to be a rather polarizing figure. People either can't get enough of him or they can barely stand the mention of his name. His music notwithstanding, there are plenty of reasons why someone would dislike Bieber based on personality alone. Remember back in the day when posing for photos with fans was just part of the celebrity job description? Bieber has announced that he will no longer allow pictures with fans and has even been caught blowing off ecstatic fans, much to their dismay. Although he did leave a note for one girl he hoped would have been a fan of his, Anne Frank. He wrote in the Anne Frank House guest book that hopefully Frank would have been a believer, which is just a tad insensitive and narcissistic if you ask us. When visiting another historical monument, the Great Wall of China, Bieber decided he was too good to walk and had his bodyguards carry him up the wall. Oh, and then there was the time that he peed in a mop bucket, the time he purchased a pet monkey and then abandoned it, and the time he literally spit on his fans. We know that some girls like bad boys, but his baddest behavior just makes him seem like an immature jerk. Jake Paul. The worst thing that former Vine star and current YouTube personality Jake Paul has done to most of us is release his video for Everyday Bro. Although the video became the 7th most disliked video on YouTube, the people who despise Paul the most are the ones that have to live near him. If you've ever wondered what it's like to live near someone who has been known to light their pool on fire, it turns out it really sucks, according to Paul's neighbors. While some celebs prefer a quiet life, Paul happily broadcasts his home address so that his legions of screaming fans can visit at all hours and in massive numbers. When asked about the chaotic situation he has created, Paul admits it's terrible but claims there's simply nothing that can be done about it. Well, that's unfortunate for Paul since this situation has caused him to be fired from Disney. He could really use that paycheck now since his long-suffering neighbors are threatening legal action. Paul even took to his vlog to cry that his neighbors are trying to end his life by unscrewing the nuts on his van tires. Wow, thank goodness that dastardly and totally plausible assassination plot failed and Paul survived to dab another day. It's time for our trivia question. This former Disney star has struggled with mental health issues, which they claim is the reason why they punched someone in the face during a flight. What celeb committed this cruel assault? Keep watching to find out. Taylor Swift. Although we all felt bad for her that time she was interrupted by Kanye West, it turns out that Taylor Swift generates a lot of bad blood with other people as well. A lot of people applauded her for taking on an Apple policy that would have meant she and other musicians wouldn't get paid while subscribers were in the free trial period for Apple Music. That makes sense, but when a photographer's rider surfaced, some people were quick to cry hypocrite. In it, she basically claims that photographers can't use the pictures that they take for anything she isn't making money on. Not only that, if a photographer is caught using the pictures they took on their own website or posting them on social media, Swift reserves the right to have her cronies confiscate and destroy any cameras or computers holding the images. She also doesn't want any fans making money off her either and has sued individual people selling homemade crafts of her on Etsy. Helping her in her mission to shut down the handicrafts of hardworking men and women is the fact that she trademarked several phrases, including "party like it's 1989." But this reference to her album 1989 is a ripoff of lyrics to Prince's hit 1999. Michael Jordan. Even more shocking than his abysmal baseball career is the fact that Michael Jordan is apparently a real jerk off the court. Actually, his mean-spirited nature occasionally seeped onto the court, such as the time when he punched Steve Kerr in the face as a result of a disagreement. Although Kerr didn't discuss the incident until well after it happened, we all remember Jordan's acceptance speech when he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Instead of a heartfelt and humble speech, Jordan used this as an opportunity to trash-talk everyone from his college roommate to his own children. Everyone who heard the speech couldn't help but cringe and wonder how much lower Jordan could go. Well, how about cheating an old woman in a game of cards? When visiting the home of North Carolina teammate Buzz Peterson, Jordan began playing a card game with Peterson and his mother. However, when Mrs. Peterson got up to use the restroom, Peterson caught Jordan trying to cheat by looking at her cards. Liam Payne. The boys of One Direction have a bit of a reputation for being rude to their fans when they come begging for photos and autographs. While we can maybe understand their frustration in certain cases, Liam Payne picked a strange target for his anger one day while visiting New York with his family. Like many tourists, he decided to stop and see the Empire State Building, but apparently the security staff there rubbed him the wrong way. Like any reasonable person would do, Payne turned to Twitter in order to log a complaint about the way in which he was wronged. He claimed that the senior security supervisor was arrogant, unprofessional, and extremely disrespectful. Surprisingly, the security staff responded via Twitter, claiming that Payne had tried the old "do you know who I am" approach to getting through security, and that he had been arrogant and uncooperative. Picking fights with treasured landmarks is generally a bad career move, so Payne tweeted out a couple of increasingly apologetic statements after he experienced backlash about the incident. Reese Witherspoon. When we think of wholesome and uncontroversial actresses, Reese Witherspoon seemed to fit the bill, at least until 2013 when the cracks in her facade began to show. She and her husband Jim Toth were pulled over under suspicion of driving under the influence of alcohol, and to say she copped a bit of an attitude with the arresting officer is an understatement. Witherspoon demanded to know if the officer knew who she was and threatened that he was about to find out. When pulling rank and then questioning the officer's credentials failed, she even claimed that she was pregnant despite that not being the case. Her diva behavior earned her a disorderly conduct charge that she ended up pleading no contest to. Although she claimed afterwards that she had reacted out of fear, we would think being in the car with a drunk driver would be scarier than being pulled over, and that faking a pregnancy isn't a good reaction to either situation. There are also rumors that when working with other people, Witherspoon will refuse to take off her sunglasses, even when inside, because she doesn't want people to make eye contact with her. Angelina Jolie. She's known for her charity work and for adopting children, so it might shock you to know that Angelina Jolie is reportedly a nightmare to work for. Sure, there are the allegations that she stole Brad Pitt away from Jennifer Aniston, but many people dismiss that because Pitt was equally culpable in that regard. One former bodyguard claims that Jolie has a very distinct public persona and her true private self is self-centered and a complete control freak. Apparently, Jolie swings between two extremes when she's upset, either screaming at the top of her lungs or punishing her family with prolonged periods of disappearances and silence. Having 6 kids sounds like it can be overwhelming, and apparently when it gets to be too much for Jolie, she simply walks away from her responsibility. And considering the fact that former employees have claimed she has zero patience, she disappears into her private suite more often than not. Some of us feel uncomfortable when children cry, as they tend to do, but Jolie has a rather strange habit of giggling when her children dissolve into tears. As far as we know, she hasn't cursed any of her family members with a spinning wheel, at least not yet anyways. Do you know which former Disney star punched someone during a flight to Peru? It was Demi Lovato who assaulted her backup dancer and friend, Alex Welch. Although the incident was horrific, it encouraged Lovato to get help for her mental health issues. So which one of these incidents made you lose the most respect for a celeb? Tell us your thoughts about these jerks in the comment section. As always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to The Richest for more great content. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.